All right, so you guys wanted the inside scoop on Adrian Portelli, the Australian entrepreneur who's been shaking things up lately. And let me tell you, we've got ourselves a pretty interesting deep dive for you today. This guy's not your typical billionaire.
Yeah, he's something else.
Yeah.
What I find really interesting about Portelli is that he's built a billion-dollar empire in just a few short years, all by the age of 34. I mean, that's not just luck, right? There's a real strategy at play here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not every day you find someone who's got a fleet of Lamborghinis and is also making headlines for giving back to the community. It's like he's discovered this secret sauce, like how to enjoy the good life while also making a real difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's definitely something to keep in mind as we unpack his story. There's a lot more to Portelli than just the Lambo guy image. But before we jump ahead, let's rewind a bit and figure out how he actually built his fortune in the first place.
Yeah, okay, let's break this down. Where do we even begin?
Well, it all starts with LMCT Plus Mine. It's basically the engine that's driving his success. A perfect example of really understanding today's consumer and that psychology of wanting more, It's this super smart blend of aspiration and a sense of community.
Okay, now on the surface, LMCT Plus is this discount membership service. But I have a feeling there's got to be more to it than that, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's the big ticket giveaways that really get people's attention. We're talking luxury cars, houses, the kind of stuff that makes your jaw drop.
Yeah, those giveaways are something else. Imagine like winning a Lamborghini in a raffle. It's like the lottery, but instead of getting a pile of cash, you're driving off in a supercar.
Exactly. And that's the genius of it. He's tapped into this universal desire for luxury, for the thrill of potentially winning big.
Yeah.
But it's bigger than just individual aspirations, right? He's built a community around that shared dream.
A community. Okay. Tell me more about that.
So right now, LMCT Plus has over 300,000 subscribers, and it's constantly growing. It's become this huge network of people, both online and offline, who share this passion for, luxury cars, incredible experiences, basically the good life.
So how does this whole thing make money then? Because giving away Lamborghinis doesn't exactly scream profitable business model to me.
Well, that's where the memberships come in. People pay a fee to be a part of LMCT Plus, and that creates a pretty steady revenue stream for him. But here's the real genius part. The perceived value of those prizes, who wouldn't want a shot at winning a Lamborghini, right? That alone attracts a massive subscriber base, which ends up generating way more revenue than the memberships alone could ever bring in.
It's like he's figured out how to make the prizes pay for themselves, like tenfold. That is next level business thinking.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the giveaways either. You got to remember, Portelli is a master at marketing and branding. He's created this brand that feels exclusive, aspirational, and he's constantly in the headlines, keeping people talking.
And speaking of headlines, we can't forget about that whole power play he pulled on the block. Now, for our listeners who might not be familiar with Australian reality TV, just picture the most intense, high-stakes, house-flipping show you've ever seen.
We're talking life-changing amounts of money here. The teams spend weeks renovating these rundown houses, all hoping to sell them for a huge profit.
And that's where Portelli makes his grand entrance. He doesn't just dip his toe in the water, he jumps in head first. I have to admit, when I first heard about it, I thought it was wild. And then it hit me, this guy's playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers.
He bought, get this, not one, not two, but 3 out of the 5 houses up for auction that season.
3. Okay, now that's just showing off.
And the kicker, he bought the most expensive one for a cool $12.4 million. That's not just winning the block, it's making a statement.
So break it down for me. How does dropping millions on a reality TV show translate into business success?
Don't forget, he's already made a name for himself with the whole luxury car thing and LMCT Plus smock. But by buying those houses, especially that most expensive one, he solidified this image of himself as someone who knows how to invest, someone who takes risks and wins. Big.
So it's like, if this guy can just casually throw millions around on a whim, maybe I should join his club. Maybe some of that magic will rub off on me.
Exactly. It created this ripple effect, It boosted his credibility, and it drew even more people to LMCT Plus Juxia. It was a genius marketing move disguised as a reality TV appearance.
This guy's playing the long game, and it's working brilliantly. But there's another layer to this whole story that we can't ignore.
His philanthropy.
Right, because it's not all about Lamborghinis and beachfront mansions, is it?
Yeah, it's a question a lot of people have been asking, like, how does the whole Lambo guy image fit in with, actually caring about philanthropy? And that's what makes Adrian Portelli so interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like he's challenging all those preconceived notions we have, right?
Right.
You think billionaires have to fit into this specific mold, but Portelli's kind of rewriting the rules. He's not afraid to enjoy his success, but he also uses his platform to, make a real difference.
Exactly. And one of the main ways he does that is through his Little Legends Foundation. And this isn't just about writing a check and calling it a day. This foundation is all about creating real, lasting change for kids who need it most.
Okay, so tell me more about that. What kind of change are we talking about here? What exactly does the Little Legends Foundation do?
Little Legends is all about empowering kids, giving them opportunities they might not otherwise have. A great example is their scholarship program. They've helped dozens of kids from disadvantaged backgrounds get access to quality education. Like, they cover tuition, books, uniforms, you name it.
Wow, that's amazing. Education can be such a game changer for kids, especially when they might not have the same opportunities as others. It's not just a handout, right? It's giving them the tools to build a better future for themselves.
100%. And it goes beyond education, too. Little Legends also has programs focused on health and well-being. So that could mean access to healthcare, nutritious meals, even mental health support for kids who are going through tough times.
So he's really approaching it from all angles, isn't he? Addressing those root causes instead of just putting a Band-Aid on things.
Yeah,
That's what real impact looks like to me.
absolutely. And it's clear that this isn't just some PR stunt for Portelli. He's deeply involved in the work that the foundation does. He regularly visits the kids, shares their stories on his social media, and uses his influence to raise awareness and funds.
He's not just writing a check. He's actually putting in the time and effort to connect with the cause personally.
Yeah, and that authenticity shines through. He's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk. And that's what makes his approach to philanthropy so compelling, I think.
It's like he's blurring the lines a bit,
Yeah.
showing us you can be this incredibly savvy businessman and also a genuinely compassionate person, even if those two things seem at odds sometimes. But let's be real, this guy is all about breaking the mold, right?
Yeah, he really is. And speaking of breaking the mold, we need to talk about Portelli's global ambitions. He's not content with just Australia. This guy has his sights set on the world.
Okay, so we're talking about taking LMCT plus international. That's a whole other level of, ambition. What's the game plan there?
Well, he's hinted at a two-pronged approach. First, he wants to basically copy the LMCT Plus model, but do it in new markets, obviously tailoring those prizes and experiences to what people in those specific areas want. I mean, a Lamborghini might be a status symbol in one country, but not so much in another.
It's all about understanding those little nuances of each market, right? You can't just have a one-size-fits-all approach when you're trying to go global.
Right, and that's where his second strategy comes into play. Partnerships and acquisitions.
Now we're talking serious business moves. Break that down for me.
Okay, so think of it like this. Instead of starting completely from scratch in every new market he wants to break into, he's looking to team up with or even straight up buy out existing players in the luxury market. We're talking established brands that already have that loyal customer base and who really understand their markets.
So it's about leveraging those existing connections and knowledge to gain a foothold in a new territory. Makes sense.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just online platforms, too. Remember how much he loves real estate?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's been talk of him checking out luxury properties in major markets all over the world.
Okay, so imagine this. You win a contest through LMCT plus the bread, but instead of a car, you get a luxury apartment in, like Dubai, overlooking the Burj Khalifa. Or maybe it's exclusive access to a private vineyard in Napa Valley that he now owns.
Exactly. He's not just selling products, right? He's crafting these incredible experiences that money usually can't buy, things that resonate with a global audience. He's creating a whole world of luxury, and LMCT Plus is your ticket in.
That's pretty brilliant when you think about it. He's tapped into that psychology of aspiration and created a brand that feels both attainable, like you could actually be a part of it,
Yeah.
but also exclusive at the same time.
And it has the potential to really disrupt the traditional luxury market.
Now, while we're on the topic of Portelli's brand, we have to address the elephant, or should I say the Lamborghini, in the room.
Ah, yes. The whole Lambo guy persona.
Exactly. That's what really put him on the map in the beginning, wasn't it?
Huh?
But is it all just a carefully constructed image? Or is there genuine passion there? Like, does he really love those supercars?
I'd say it's a little bit of both, honestly. I mean, he definitely loves his luxury cars. His social media is full of them. He talks about them in interviews all the time. But he's also smart enough to know how powerful that image is from a marketing perspective.
It's like he's living the dream that a lot of people who follow him want. Fast cars, luxury lifestyle. It's the ultimate fantasy for some people.
Exactly. And that aspiration is powerful. Even if most people can't imagine owning even one of the cars in his collection, they can still feel like they're a part of that world through LMCT plus Look, hoping for a little taste of that lifestyle.
So it's about more than just selling cars or memberships at this point, isn't it? He's selling a feeling, an idea.
Mm.
And that's powerful stuff. But as we've been talking about, there's more to Portelli than just flashy cars and an extravagant lifestyle. He's complex. A mix of ambition, business smarts, and a real desire to do some good in the world.
And that's what makes his story so fascinating. He's really challenging all those ideas we have about what it means to be successful in this day and age. He's not afraid to embrace his ambition and his compassion, to enjoy his wealth, but also use it to make a difference.
It's like he's writing a whole new playbook for this new generation of entrepreneurs. And it's both inspiring and a little bit thought-provoking at the same time. But what does it all mean for us, the average person who's just trying to make sense of this crazy world? So we spent all this time talking about Adrian Portelli, a guy who went from fixing trucks to owning a fleet of Lambos faster than you can say the block.
It's a wild story full of crazy business moves, a super luxurious lifestyle, and then this whole other side of him, the philanthropy.
And I think it's exactly what makes his story worth hearing, because whether you're an entrepreneur or someone in marketing or just someone trying to figure out this crazy world we live in, there's some important stuff we can all take away from it.
Yeah, it's easy to look at the Lamborghinis and all that and think, well, good for him, but I can't relate to that. But it's the thinking behind it all, that strategy, that I think we can learn from. Exactly. One thing that's so interesting about Portelli is how adaptable he is. He's not afraid of new tech. He knows how to build those connections with people both on and offline. And he's taken something he loves, like even those flashy cars, and made it into a brand that millions of people connect with.
He's not just selling a product or some service, is he? It's bigger than that. He's selling a feeling, an idea, like that feeling of having that golden ticket that we were talking about earlier. And that's something that can work in any industry, really.
Yeah, 100%. It's all about figuring out who you're talking to, what makes them tick, what they really want, and then creating an experience that really speaks to that. In Portelli's case, it's that desire for luxury, that excitement of maybe winning it big, and even just the idea of being part of something exclusive.
And let's not forget the whole philanthropy side of things. He's showing everyone that you can find success in business and still be genuinely committed to making a difference.
It's all about finding that balance. And he's not hiding from the fact that he's wealthy. If anything, he's using it to shine a spotlight on causes that he really believes in. That in itself is a powerful message.
It's like he's almost rewriting the rules for what a philanthropist should look like, how they should act. He's out there enjoying his success, but also giving back at the same time.
Exactly. And I think that's so inspiring. He's not just focused on making more and more money. He's thinking about how to help other people, how to create opportunities, how to make things better.
So as we wrap things up here, what are your thoughts on all of this? Do you think Portelli represents a new kind of entrepreneur, someone who's completely changed what it means to be successful in this day and age? Or do you think he's a one-off, that his story can't really be replicated?
There's no easy answer to that, and I think that's what's so great about it. His story makes you think. It makes you think about what success really is in a world that's so obsessed with money and status. Can any of us really find that balance between, ambition, compassion, and wanting to make a difference? Can we have it all?
It's definitely something to think about. Maybe Portelli's way of doing things won't work for everyone, but there's something to be said for not being afraid to challenge things, to push those boundaries, and to use whatever influence we have, no matter how big or small, to make a positive impact on the world.
Absolutely. And that's what we were hoping you'd get out of this deep dive today. It's not just about Adrian Portelli and all the things he's done. It's about getting that conversation started, sparking something and encouraging you to find your own version of success, whatever that may be.
I love that. We've given you the information, the insights, something to chew on, and now it's your turn to decide what it all means and how it applies to your life.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep into those stories that really get you thinking.